So hello again. In this very brief video, I want to introduce the course materials for information in the brain. Um, so I'm contributing author on the textbook. The textbook won't be out in print yet when the course starts summer 2022. It was supposed to come out in January, but you know, things happen. So the course will come out in print at some point, but you don't need the print edition and you don't want the print edition. So we're going to be using a book called Cognition by Stephen Reed, with me as the contributing author. And what that means for you is a great deal of the course material will work well together, because Steve used a great deal of my lecture materials to outline a lot of the new material, and I wrote most of the neuroscience related material, and so a lot of it will jive directly together. My plan had been to do a whole new course based on the textbook and lectures going together, but of course I had a significant accident in November, was in the hospital until late February, still recovering, mostly recovered, but you know, there's still a few odds and ends to deal with. I go to a lot of doctor's appointments right now. Anyway, so it's Cognition 10th edition by Stephen Reed, so you're going to use the Sage Vantage edition. Now the great thing about this particular edition is it's all right in Canvas. So if you go to a module, there are all my lectures and the quizzes for those lectures, and then there's readings, along with review material, exercises, and chapter quizzes. So you'll be responsible for both viewing the lectures and the lecture quizzes, but also reading the chapters, doing the exercises, and the test material. So I will be grading the end of chapter tests. That is, you'll actually get a sort of percentage, but you'll have more than one chance to do them, and you don't have to do all of them. I set up the course so that there's a lot of opportunities to test yourself, because what you'll see is what we call retrieval-induced practice, or retrieval practice, or the testing effect, is you learn more by testing yourself than by reading over and over again. It's also an opportunity for you to figure out exactly what you know and what you don't know. It's what we call meta memory. So by testing yourself, you're able to figure out, well, oh, I know this material, I don't know that material. So all opportunities for that. Now I have throughout the course links to some lab exercises I used to require, but now they'll just be there for your information if you want to take a look at it, play around with them. Because there's a lot of that stuff already embedded within the Vantage edition of the text on Sage. So I don't want you to have to do a bunch of stuff that overlaps and repeats. So the lecture material and the end of chapter quizzes and the lecture quizzes are all required. The review questions and the exercises are going to go towards kind of a online participation grade, in which you'll do them. You don't have to do all of them. You just have to do most of them. You have to participate. You're going to want to do them. They're really interesting anyway. And then there's also some other real world things I want you to do that will actually be part of the exam, but you'll get the sort of things to do along the way. So one of them is you're going to do some brain games. You can do whatever website you might want to use. I do Lumosity and another called Peak. I like Lumosity because they're fun. So you'll engage with those before the midterm and the final, and there'll be a question. You'll get the question ahead of time. It's not like you'll have to answer it on the fly, but it'll basically be about the experience, what cognitive processes are involved, etc. And so there'll be some more information about that forthcoming. There's also what I call cognition in the news assignments. These are for you to go out and read something that you're interested in. And so that opportunity is to go out and just read a regular news article. It can be on anything related to the course, tied in however you want, and explain why it ties into the course and whether or not the science is right or wrong and what you might do to improve, etc. It's just, you're going to review an article, and we're talking about a page. Super easy, doesn't take very long. And it's your chance to learn more about the stuff you're interested in the course. So you get to really dive into it. So that's the course materials. Again, the Sage Vantage Edition. I think you'll really like it because, again, it's already tied into Canvas. When you go to a module, the readings are already there. And I have the lecture stuff and the reading stuff kind of separate in the module. I think eventually it'll all tie in together, but for now I wanted to keep them separate because they don't exactly tie in together, but they're close. So I hope you enjoy them. Please let me know if you have any trouble. I probably can't fix it for you, but I can maybe point you in the right direction. Sage has a great help desk. You can get their help. You can get help from on campus, and I will try to point you in the right direction. But just make sure you reach out if you're having any trouble. And I think this is going to be a really great opportunity to tie in this material and see how it applies. That's what I really want to focus on, is how this material applies. And so a couple of things you'll have to do are actually part of your exam, but we have the brain games, and then there'll also be a go out in the world exercise where you just basically go and write about something that you see in operation every day. So for example, you might go, and there'll be more details about this forthcoming, but for example, I love how business is tied in with cognition. So if you think about the yellow Cheerios box, there's a reason why you know what that looks like and you can find it so easily. They've actually tried very hard to trademark that yellow color, but they can't, because you can't trademark a color. You can trademark the use of a color, but not the color itself. But if you think about how iconic that yellow box is and why it's so important, well, because it captures your attention. It's easy to find. Because they want you to find their product, which is why lookalike products try to get you to trick them into buying other products. So I'm going to have you kind of wander out into your daily lives, wherever you might be, and try to think about cognition and action in your place and in your life. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to the course materials. We'll get further into what's going on in the next video.